Hey there, my friend. It's that time of the week where I bring on an amazing guest to share with you awesome content that not only inspires you to take action, but also helps you build your brand and business. Today's show is going to do just that because Superman is here. Now, it's not Henry Caville, but my guest is known as the video content Superman. He uses a unique method of blending storytelling with search keywords, and he's been doing it for more than 15 years, which has helped him rank regional and national brands in the US on page one of Google. So, of course, that got my attention. So, welcome to the show, Atiba.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here with you and everyone who's listening.
Yes, I'm excited because, this is all we hear all over social media is there's a term. Video is where it's at. Video is where it's at. And I know a lot of people are just getting so burnt out listening to that and hearing that. But I want to know from you, why is video marketing so important?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And you're right. There are people screaming it like me from the mountaintops. And you may be in that place where you're wondering, seriously, like, come on, right? But here's what I want you to think about for a moment. In 2019, we were in a place, all of us, where we were used to doing a search in Google. And when we did that search, there was content that came up and we clicked on it and we went and read and we learned. Then something happened in 2020. I don't remember what it was now, but something big happened in 2020. And all of us were faced with a question. And we didn't even realize at the time that we were faced with this question. And the question that we were faced with was, do we want to read or do we want to watch? And because the pandemic was so overwhelming for so many of us, and so many of us were craving connection, we all chose to watch. We all chose to watch because we wanted to see another human. We wanted to feel connection. And so we've been saying that video and the video revolution was coming since 2016. What the pandemic did was speed it up and put us in a place where everybody now wants to consume video. Think about it. Think about your own habits. You now consume more video than you do more written word than ever before.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's so true. Because I can think back when we were craving, we wanted to see the face. We wanted to hear the voice because I think we wanted to feel an emotion. And sometimes you don't get that through written work. You can if they're very good at it, like, authors out there that write, these books and you can feel the emotion, but you get that more through video. So now that pretty much the pandemic is over and now we are still consuming video, why is video so important for an entrepreneur?
Because of what you just said. I mean, you just literally hit the nail on the head. It's about connection, right? And so we were already in a place where people were getting tired of brands and wanted to connect with people within companies, within brands. This whole concept of promoting yourself, right? And you being the face was starting before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, we got, let's face it, we dealt with lies on the internet through elections. We dealt with other issues going on worldwide. And we got to a place where we stopped trusting Big Brother and said, I want to know who's there. Show me who's really, really there. And that's where they are with you. They want to see you. They want to connect with you. People are in a place now where they're feeling like, hey, if I'm going to give you my money, I want to know who you are before I give you my money. And video allows you to do that like no other medium, because you hit the nail on the head. You can impart emotion. Look, we're talking right now. You can feel me. You can feel what I'm giving. If you just read these words, you would interpret how I was feeling, but now you don't guess. That's the power of video.
That's awesome. Now, what is the difference between organic video marketing and then just video marketing?
Yeah. So video marketing is an overarching concept that breaks down, just like all marketing really in the digital marketing, of organic versus paid. Two big buckets, right? And video marketing, overarching concept that covers both of those. Paid is just what it says. I created a video and I paid a network that has eyeballs, viewers, to show my video to people that I choose. Versus organic, where now I'm going to stop and say, okay, let me consider who my audience is. Let me consider what it is that they want. And let me create content to give to them and then trust the network to put it in front of them. And I'm not paying for it in that sense. Okay. So that's kind of the difference there between the two. Now, the other big thing that comes out of this, depending on the network, and we can get into that, YouTube versus IG and so on and so forth, is in the organic world, you're also now talking about those three little letters that scare most business owners, SEO.
Yes.
Okay. And let me tell you, I just did a bunch of videos for the Traffic and Conversion Summit talking about how SEO has gotten so much easier because of video. Video SEO is so much easier than regular SEO for written content. So much easier. So no need to fear anymore. The world really just got simpler for you.
That's really cool. And I do want to get into SEO in a bit, but I want to know, so someone who's listening or watching our conversation, they're like, okay, I need to do more video marketing. And I would say majority of my audience, they're solopreneurs. So they're doing their business on their own. They're juggling family life. They have the kids. And when they think of video marketing, I can bet that they are picturing in their heads that this is going to be cumbersome, right?
Yes.
It's going to be this big project. But break it down for us. How can a solopreneur who's busy, summer is here, right? Summer's upon us and the kids are running all over. How can someone get started with video marketing that can be organic and they're being authentic to who they are? Give them a starting point of where to go and how to get started.
Such a great question. I'm so glad that you asked that. Truly, because so many people miss asking this question, and it's such a vital question for everyone who's starting out, right? And the reality here is, I get it. It feels like it's overwhelming, and it feels like it's this major thing. And part of the reason why it feels like that is because you flick on Netflix and you watch. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's great video. You go to the movie theater and you say, well, that's great video. You watch Mr. Beast or some other big YouTuber who's making millions of dollars off of videos, create videos, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's great video. How am I ever going to do that? And guess what? Your ideal customer does not want any of that. They want you. I'm going to tell you how you get there. And it's much easier than you think. So number one, you're in business, you're a solopreneur, okay? Fantastic, congratulations, kudos, you're the backbone of this society. As the backbone of this society, you have customers, and those customers ask you questions. They do, you know it and I know it. They ask questions all freaking day long. I want you to take a moment and just think about some of those questions that they ask. Write some of them down. Or maybe you're brand new in business and you don't have customers yet. And you're saying, okay, I don't have customers. So what do I do? What I want you to do is go to Google and type in 2 to 3 words to describe your business, your product, or your service. Hit enter. Scroll down. There's a section called People Also Asked. Those are questions that real people asked about your business, your product, your service. Take some of those questions. And here's what we're going to do. I want you to reach into your pocket. And if you're listening on the podcast, go see this on YouTube, okay? make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're there too. All right. Pull this thing out of your pocket that I know you have, this thing called a cell phone, right? And on your cell phone, there is an app called a camera. I want you to tap on that app called the camera. And when you do, there's an option for video, right? Then hold it in front of you and make sure that you can see yourself. Now that you can see yourself, I want you to do this. Follow me on this. I want you to do this. I want you to say, today I'm going to answer, say the question. My name is, say your name. Then answer the question. Oh, I did forget one step. You have to hit the round white button with the red dot in the middle. It's called a record. You've got to hit that. Hit that.
That's crucial.
That is very crucial. I can't believe I forgot it. Hit that. Then when you're done, hit it again and we'll stop. But this is the most important part. If hitting this button was crucial, this next step is even more crucial. The moment you stop the recording, I want you to go to your all apps, whatever that looks like on your device. Okay, we're not going to have a device debate today. Right? There is an app on your phone called YouTube. I want you to click on that app and it will open. I don't know if y'all can see this on the screen, but when it opens, there down in the middle bottom is a circle with a plus sign. Click on that circle with the plus sign. I can't do that backwards. And the second option is upload a video. Click on that. It will show you the video you just recorded. Select that video. It's going to ask you for a title. The title of the video is the question that you answered, and hit upload. My friend, welcome to video marketing.
I love that. It is really just simple as that. And we have a tendency to overcomplicate it. We overthink it and we over criticize ourselves. And we have to remember our audience is not doing that. No. They're watching for the answer, not how you look, not how your mouth looks. Like they don't care.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, the thing about it is, and let's make this real plain, right? How many of you stopped listening because I forgot to say hit record? And I got it out of sequence. No, you didn't, did you? You just realized, oh, he's human.
Right,
oh,
exactly.
It's okay, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the beauty because they're trying to connect with you. Now, before we go on from this, I got to touch on the overthinking piece, okay? And let me share a couple things with everybody, okay? So number one, I don't watch my own videos, okay? I've been doing this for over 15 years. I don't watch my own videos. So if you don't want to watch your own videos,
it's probably smart.
You're perfectly, because I'll overthink it too. Oh my gosh, my hat was crooked. I got to reshoot the video. It was crooked. Come on, dude, like seriously.
Right.
Right. And the next thing I want to say to you guys on the point of overthinking is someone was on Zoom with you, if someone called you on the phone, if someone came into your shop, if you have a brick and mortar shop, and they asked you that question, would you get up and say, hold on, and go to the bathroom and check, is my hat straight? Would you check your makeup? Would you tell them, I'll answer that after I lose 15 pounds? Or would you tell them, you know what, let me go change my outfit and then I'll answer that question for you? No, you would say none of those things.
No, that was good. That's a good heart check to have with yourself. I like that. I like that a lot. So here's the key question. Once someone gets started with video marketing and they're getting brave and they're just putting themselves out there, like I always say to people, you know what the greatest place to start, and here I'm picking a platform, is Instagram stories. You know why? Because they're up for 24 hours. And then it's gone. Like just start there. And like what you just went through state the question, your name, and answer the question. Yeah. Do that in Instagram stories. Yep. And then if it went well, download it and then repurpose it as a reel. So what is your take on, because I think a lot of people think video marketing, they shoot a video, they're happy with it. And what happens is they put it out one time. one time. And then they're
Yeah.
like, video marketing is not working for me.
Mhm.
And I'm always like, well, you have to share it more than once. So what are the keys to driving traffic and getting our video seen?
Wow, that's a very loaded question.
It is.
And I can take that a bunch of different ways. And so let me take it from the top. Okay, let me take it from the top. So number one, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to, especially if you're brand new and you're terrified, going to the stories and because they will disappear until you build your confidence. For our clients, everything goes to YouTube first.
Okay.
Okay, here's why. Here's why. YouTube happens to be owned by this little company called Google. Google happens to be the number one intent-based search engine in the world. What do I mean by that? Intent-based means people go to Google looking for a particular intent. There's a purpose behind why they searched. There's something that they want. Okay? Now, a year and a half ago, Google made a very quiet declaration that they were going to start putting more videos on page one of Google and
Oh,
outranking written content. Video outranking written content. Getting back to what I said about SEO just got easier. Okay, you can write a blog and it's not going to end up on page one. You can create a video and it will outrank blogs from major sites. Okay, so follow me here now, y'all. We're talking about getting views to your video. Number one, I don't care about virality. I care about getting the right people to watch your videos, excuse me. So we put it on YouTube because Google owns YouTube. And so now when someone searches in Google, when it wants to show a video, your video is an option for it to not put on page one of that search result. Okay. What that gets you is views of people who have the intent to consume your information. Those are the best people in the world for you. They want to buy from you. That's who you want consuming from you. Okay. So that's number one for us. Now, let's take it a little bit further and say, okay, so I created this piece of content and maybe it was 5 minutes long and maybe it got some traction. That was wonderful. Now what? Yes. Now, we don't use the word repurposing because I consider that to be a 4-letter word. Okay. We use the word splintering because splintering has a little bit more intelligence to it. And I say that not to disparage anyone, but there are a lot of people online who are not, oh, I'll repurpose your video. I'll get AI to repurpose your video. And yeah, they go in and they chop it up. And sometimes they chop it up into pieces that don't make any sense.
okay.
Okay. Or they chop it up into what sounds good. Well, your customer doesn't care about what sounds good if it doesn't answer their question. Okay. Because then that's just more fluff to them. They want actionable information. So we teach you to splinter your content into bite-sized chunks that further answer questions that your customers have. Now we take those splinters and we can continue posting those. Let me give you an example. So you and I both have a show. Someone who's on my show and we do an interview, we're going to post the full video. We're going to post some teasers and so on and so forth when it comes out. Then we're going to splinter that show and maybe we'll get 12, maybe we'll get 15 additional pieces of content. And we're going to post one of those per month for the next 12 months.
That is really, really interesting. And I never would have thought of the term splintering. And I really like that because it's true. You will see video out there that will be clipped to almost like a headline or a teaser, but you don't really know what it's about. And people are just so busy that they just kind of like scroll on if it doesn't immediately help them, if they don't take something away from it.
Exactly.
I really like that technique. That is really, really cool.
And for us as small businesses, it's super important. Now, people argue this point with me and they say, yeah, but I see the big guys do it. I'm like, yeah, because guess what? If Kim Kardashian says blah, 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 people are going to watch it.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's right for you as a small business owner. Okay. That doesn't mean that at all. Doesn't mean it's right for your customer either. She's not making money off of that person who's watching that video, right? So yeah, so that's why we use splintering as a term and don't like repurposing. But the upside of splintering, y'all, is it creates content for you that you can then use for a long time. There are videos that my team will put up of me from 2 years ago that we splintered content and it got spread so far out, we're still using it.
Wow.
Okay.
So for example, let me ask you if this is my right train of thought. Is so one of my episodes, ours today, I have asked like 4 or 5 different questions.
Yep.
So I can take one of those questions and splinter it out from the full episode and just take that piece and put it out on YouTube. Now, my follow-up question to that is like, okay, so we're splintering our videos. What is the call to action? Do we want to point them back to the original?
Yeah, it's a great question. That is a fantastic question. And the answer is, drum roll, please. It depends.
Okay.
Really, Atiba? Yeah, it does. So here's how that works out. So number one, if you're splintering down into a long form into long form, and by that I mean something longer than 1 minute. Anything 1 minute and shorter is short form. Anything 1 minute and longer is long form. Okay. And you're putting it on YouTube. Anything that you put on YouTube that's splintered needs to point back to the original.
Okay.
The reason behind that is very simple. YouTube cares about watch time and time on platform. Okay. The third stat that YouTube cares about that nobody pays attention to because they don't actually report it to us, but it's super important to them is how many videos did someone watch after they watched yours? Which then get back to watch time and time on platform. Okay. So that says if you splintered a video, then point that video back to the original. That's your CTA, go back to the original. We put the link to the original in the description. Okay. We do that so that people then go watch the original, thereby elongating time on platform, elongating watch time, and number of videos that they watched after they watched yours. And because it's another one of yours, you're more likely now to show up more in their search results. So that's on YouTube. Once we come off of YouTube, so now we've created short form content. Now you can post short form on YouTube and then go to IG Reels, go to TikTok, heck, depending on your audience, go to LinkedIn with either the short or long form on LinkedIn. Okay. Now you can play the game of CTAs. Okay. Now, here's the general rule behind CTAs though. Every single platform wants people to stay on platform and don't like things that take people off platform. Okay. So very often on Instagram, what you'll see that we use a ton is transitional kind of CTA. So that's the like it, that's the comment, that's the follow, that's the share. Because those are all actions that happen inside of the platform that signal to the platform, this person likes us, but it doesn't take them off platform. Okay. Now we do off platform stuff and we'll say, hey, go watch the full video, or hey, go get this downloadable, or what have you, where necessary. But we try to limit that to about 20% of the time.
Yeah, you almost have to play the platform's rules if you want to get pushed on their platforms. Absolutely. Because if they're constantly clicking out from your user account, they're not going to be showing your stuff.
No, you're ruining their lives.
Yes.
Right. And I get it. I get it because as a business owner, I created this piece of content and I want people to come and I want people to buy and so on and so forth. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. And this is one of the other sides of video, especially as we look at YouTube. Okay. People will date you through your short form and marry you through your long form. Hear that. People will date you through your short form and marry you through your long form. That means that if they're watching your short form video, they're just on a date with you. It's not time to propose marriage. It's not time to say, hey, pull out your credit card.
Mhm.
Okay. Let them date you through that short form. And even in the long form, and so this is taking the question that you asked even further into the strategy of what we use with long form. We bucket long form into 3 different types. Okay. We call it why, how, what. Those are the 3: why, how, and what. The why content is that overarching, why is this important? Why is this necessary? Why is this going to change your life? Why is this problem that you're having important for you to fix? Blah, 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 blah. All the big why type questions, right? Why videos point to how videos. Okay. How videos say how I actually help you. Right? What is the process that we go through? Kind of like how we did here when I said, hey, pull out your phone. That's a how. This is how you do it, right? Then the what would be what it is that I actually do for you. So yes, you've created some video on your phone, but it was time consuming and you need help. You need a true content strategy. Listen, we can help you with that. See, that's a what video.
That's cool.
Okay.
It makes sense too.
Yeah. And so on YouTube and on Instagram and on TikTok, what we do there is your why videos point to your how videos point to your what video. Your what videos take them off platform.
Okay.
If somebody has watched your shorts and then gone through a sequence like that with you, hey, by the time they reach out to you, they're sold.
That's awesome. I love that. Now, before I ask one more question, where's the one place our listeners can get the most value from you?
LinkedIn. And the best way to get to LinkedIn with me is go to meetatiba.com. That's meet, A-T-I, B as in boy, A. That's my name, atiba.com. Okay, that will take you directly to my LinkedIn profile. When you get to my LinkedIn profile, what you want to do is connect with me. Don't follow, connect with me. Okay. Now, if you're on the desktop, you got to hit more on the profile and then connect is an option there. If you're on your mobile, you hit the 3 little ellipse on the right-hand side at the top of the profile and then connect is there. Connect with me, send me a message. Tell me you saw me on Atlas's show. Let's talk, let's chat.
Right. And get into more video. Now, here
Yes.
is my last, it might be a loaded question, but I think this is where I think video marketing stands out. Is SEO only about Google search?
No. And yes. And no. Yes. So here's the deal. If you had asked me that 12 months ago, I would have said yes. Okay. And I would have said yes because the reality of Facebook and Instagram is their search engines suck. Okay. LinkedIn, nobody searches that much, but it's better than Instagram and Facebook's, but it's hard to manipulate. And when I say manipulate, strong word, it's hard to understand. Okay. Then just under a year ago, TikTok did something really interesting. And TikTok made a declaration. Since TikTok started, they've wanted to be an entertainment platform. Then in 2022, TikTok decided to change its mind and said, we're going to become a search engine. So now you have this major fight of video on TikTok and search and Google and search, with YouTube also and YouTube search being behind it as well. Okay. So I actually create a ton of content on TikTok about TikTok SEO. And so you can go check out any of that as well. But mastering TikTok SEO, which is still in its infancy, which is really interesting because TikTok's algorithm is so great, is just fun all by itself because it's going to mature, and it's going to become harder. And well, let's not get too political, but TikTok's going to run into some problems really soon that Google's been having that they said we've solved, but now they're actually realizing why Google was having those problems. Okay, which is, how do I rank stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of merit in being able to get views on TikTok. Now, that being said, that's if your audience is on TikTok. If your audience is not on TikTok, you don't need to care about that right now. Okay. Versus Google and everyone searches. Now, Allison, I'm going to also tell you a secret here. Google, when they made this choice that they wanted more video on page one, they realized at the same time that YouTube didn't have enough video to fulfill the requirement that Google was placing. And so one of the things that has slowly started to happen is Google is also ranking TikTok videos on page one of Google.
Interesting.
How do I know? Because we've been working to crack the algorithm and we've gotten a few videos to actually rank on page one of Google.
Wow. So if you're utilizing YouTube and TikTok, chances of you getting on page one of Google, if you're being consistent,
goes up tremendously. And that's why I said it at the outset, SEO is getting easier, not harder.
Wow. And I think this is my next question for you, because I just mentioned the word consistency and it made me think of this. Like, we're talking about video. How much video? Or does it go back to just being smart with creating the long form video and then splintering it?
Yeah.
Is that the key?
That is the key. The key is figuring out your rhythm, and everybody's rhythm may be different. Okay. So for example, for our clients, we do a once a month rhythm where we get them together on video once a month for a couple hours, and we shoot an entire month's worth of video in a couple hours. We then take that and it gives us enough to post one long form per week and then splinter that out into content for the rest of the days of the month. Okay. So that's the batch method. Now, some people are really, really great with the batch method because they like to block and they like to schedule, right? There's another friend of mine, Wave Wild, who is like the queen of TikTok and LinkedIn, and she is completely on the opposite side. Wave is I create content in the moment, every moment, right? And she'll create 10 to 15 pieces of content a day.
Wow.
Okay. That's how she works. My point here is there isn't a right or wrong answer. It's what fits you and what you can stick to. If batch works for you, great. Get 3, 4, 5 questions that you can answer, turn on the camera and just record the answers. Okay, in a batch. Then have an editor just cut it up and post it for you.
I love that. Finding your own rhythm, your own style. And that's, I think, what helps entrepreneurs stay consistent in video marketing. Because a lot of times what I see is they're just trying to imitate what someone else is doing.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have to be authentic to who you are. And so if you're the type of person where you're like, you know what, I just want to start out with maybe recording one piece a week, one piece every other week. But if you're consistent with that, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, just imagine all that content that you're going to have. And with your method of splintering, that's a lot of content.
Yep, it is. And not only is it a lot of content, but at that point, one of the things that you get to do is hire someone on your team to go through that content and figure out new ways of splintering it. Okay, because now you get into cross splintering where you realize, hey, you know what? The answer to this question is actually piece in this video, piece in this video, and piece in that video. Let's put all 3 of those together and create new content.
Yeah.
Right? And so you can just, Once you get the machine started, the machine rolls, and you get to a place where you have so much content that you can take a break, right? I
Mhm.
can literally not create content for months, and the team will have content for years.
And I bet that's a good feeling.
Well, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling until something new comes out and you need fresh content. So if you're in an industry like marketing that changes and all of a sudden now we've got Chat GPT and everybody wants to talk about that, well, okay, great. They can't go back in the archives for that. I got to create new for that, right? But it's still now I'm creating content on TikTok SEO and Chat GPT, and then they can mix in all of the other stuff that I've done over the years.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. This conversation was great. And I think the audience is going to be inspired to
Thank you.
not only stay authentic to who they are, but start putting video content out there. And I love your method of splintering. I think that's really cool. I see how that's different from repurposing. So that was totally clear. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Any last minute advice, tips that you want to share before we end our conversation today?
Yeah. So, we started this conversation, y'all, by Allison saying, everyone's hearing about video marketing and people shouting it from the tops of the roofs everywhere on social media. Like, why is it so important? And so on and so forth. Here's the deal. It isn't, is it coming? It is here and it is moving. The beauty, though, is your industry, I guarantee, is behind. And so this is one of the only times in the life of your business where you're going to be able to take a major competitive advantage over your competition in a way that they're not going to be able to recover from easily. Now, as I say that, the reality is there are two people there. They're you if you take action, and they're your competition if they don't. But that can also reverse. And your competition could take action and you can not, and you could be the one left behind. Is that where you want to be? If not, pull out the phone, answer a question, upload it to YouTube today.
Oh, thank you, Atiba. This was such a great conversation, and I can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Thank you for having me. It's been absolutely a pleasure. You are awesome.
Thank you. You too.